Well, you get on in here because not only is it a new week in that, it is a brand spanking new month, December the 2nd. Here's what we're working on this morning. Canada Post has presented the union representing some 55,000 striking postal workers with a framework to reach negotiated agreements.
The Buffalo Bills plow past the 49ers to win the AFC East title.
And could there be a desperate
Take two?
Housewives reboot coming soon? Let's see if I can pronounce that properly. Soon.
It's Monday, shake it off.
Well, I didn't do my exercises.
Okay.
Your lips, your teeth, your mouth, your nose. 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 Okay, there we go. We're all good. Sorry.
Okay. How about the roads?
Our roads are okay.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad we're not in Gravenhurst? Wow. I cannot believe how much snow they got. We've got a story coming up.
140 and counting centimeters of snow.
It's
imaginable. Highway 11 totally shut down. OPP getting to rescue vehicles on snowmobiles. The biggest concern for me was like the livestock trucks, though. I was like, are the horses and pigs okay?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about lake effect snow. You've been in weather for so long, and you know it. You can predict how much snow is going to come, and you could say this is what we think, but you don't really know because on Friday you were saying 100, which is like crazy.
A lot.
Yeah.
And another 100, another 40 to that. Like it's just.
Well, and it's still coming down in many areas. I mean, it's a state of emergency at Bracebridge. I mean, Huntsville, about 122 centimeters of snow. I mean, like everywhere got 50 plus. We got flurries and a little bit of sunshine. Yesterday we saw a daytime high of 1, and the wind chill is kind of our biggest concern. It's been feeling more like -6 to -12 through the evening and overnight. We'll take a look at some of the roads. Just outside here, 403 and Waterdown Road looking good. Again, a few isolated flurries throughout the region, so windshield washer fluid. And if you haven't switched over your snow tires, it's time to make an appointment because I think we have some big weather events coming our way in the next couple of weeks. QEW west of Eastport Drive, moving well in both directions. QEW east of Bronte Road, also looking good at this hour. 403 at Dundas, moving well. And we've got the Skyway Burlington side also moving well at this early hour. And so we'll talk about our forecast and what we can expect in the next couple of days just ahead. But first, the news.
All right, thanks, Em. Let's get into the news on this Monday morning. And Canada's ambassador to the U.S. says Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Friday night dinner in Florida with the incoming U.S. president focused mainly on the border. Kirsten Hillman says one of Trudeau's priorities was to ensure Donald Trump's that he understands the differences between Canada's border with the U.S. and America's southern border with Mexico. Trump has threatened both Canada and Mexico with 25% tariffs on all goods into the U.S. if they do not stop the inflow of drugs and illegal immigration. But Hillman said there is really no comparison with our borders. Still, she says Canada is ready to make new investments in border security and has plans for more helicopters, drones, and law enforcement officers.
Now, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says his party will make accommodations to quickly pass a border plan as a gridlock in Parliament appears set to continue. He is demanding the federal government present a plan to Parliament to beef up border security because of Donald Trump's tariff threats. Poilievre says Canada should also cap the number of asylum seekers as it faces a significant influx in refugee claims.
Well, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers says there has been no word from the mediator that talks in the labor dispute with Canada Post will resume. The union posted on its website yesterday that its negotiators are reviewing a framework from Canada Post aimed at reaching negotiated settlements. Canada Post says the framework includes proposals for greater flexibility in its delivery model and shows, quote, movement on other key issues. The union also says while it's ready for talks to restart, the framework does not seem to take into account Labour Minister Stephen McKinnon's comments about the agreement needing to be ratifiable. Now, the Labour Minister temporarily suspended mediation last week because negotiations had not budged.
A freighter in the lake loaded with Canadian wheat is expected to stay aground in the St. Lawrence River for a while. This is a drone shot of the Tim Asadul on Friday when 3 tugs were brought in to try to refloat it. It didn't move. Officials are now working on a plan to bring in barges that could keep the freighter where it is for several more days. The ship was on its way from Port Weller in Niagara to Quebec City more than a week ago when it ran aground. Now, nothing is leaking from the lake freighter. No one was hurt, and it is not in the way of most other marine traffic.
Okay, so let's get to that story that Emily was talking about, because the town in central Ontario's Muskoka region has declared a state of emergency after being hit with about 140 centimeters of snow. That's 1.5 meters of mostly lake effect snowfall Friday into yesterday, and still coming down. Gravenhurst reports the declaration was a response to a prolonged highway closure, stalled motorists, and limited emergency services. Widespread power outages have also hit the area, with more than 19,000 homes and businesses still offline in the broader region this morning.
The very long process of changing Hamilton's Main Street from one-way traffic to 2 is taking another big step, and it's supposed to start today. Hamilton City Councillors voted more than 2 years ago to convert traffic flow along the busy thoroughfare as a way to reduce speed and increase pedestrian and driver safety. So lane closures will start today on a stretch of Main Street east between Emerald Street and Erie Avenue. Several other lanes along Main will be closed or restricted over the next few days. City of Hamilton has a full list on its website, which we'll have a link to at chch.com. The two-way traffic project is expected to be finished in late 2027 or early 2028. Well, food banks across Ontario are struggling as rising demand outpaces their resources. A new Feed Ontario report shows 40% of food banks in the province have had to reduce the amount of food that they hand out, and half have had to cut essential wraparound services. This is all because of record high demand and resource shortages. With over 1 million people turning to Ontario food banks, a 25% increase over last year, many are being forced to turn people away. The report includes a video with food bank reps talking about the increased need in their communities and the challenges that they face.
We're seeing people that we used to see years ago, and we're seeing people who were donors now have to come for support.
It's not just a simple, they're homeless or they don't have a job or anything like that. We're seeing an increased amount of people who actually have full-time jobs.
So this report details the economic trends, including high housing costs and precarious work, that are driving this increase. In addition to forcing more people to turn to food banks for help, the affordability crisis has resulted in fewer people in Ontario being able to donate the same level of support as they have before. Feed Ontario's calls for urgent action to address the root causes of poverty and to help those who rely on food banks for their survival. Well, the 24th annual Breakfast of Champions taking place this morning. It recognizes the accomplishments of Hamilton athletes, teams, and coaches. Simone Gavros is at Carmen's Banquet Centre with more.
Good morning, Annette. Well, the breakfast here starts at 8 a.m., so it's a little bit quiet right now, but teams are diligently getting everything ready to make sure they can welcome everyone as they come in. Now, around 500 local athletes, teams, and coaches are going to be recognized today for all of their excellence that happened this year. Now, the breakfast is going to be hosted once again by former Ticat Pete Diakowski. There's also going to be a number of VIP sport guests in attendance. Most notably, the keynote speaker this year is three-time beach volleyball Olympian Heather Bansley, who is also from Waterdown. I'll be speaking with Heather a little later this morning. Now, today's event will recognize the accomplishments of those who competed at the provincial, national, and international levels. Some awards being handed out today include awards in excellence, perseverance, leadership, and community service. And of course, Hamilton's homegrown champions will be recognized for sports in wrestling, basketball, and lacrosse, just to name a few. Now, the event is also collecting donations today for essential aid for babies and toddlers. Coming up, we're going to be speaking with some of those coaches as well as the president of Sport Hamilton for more details on what this event means for these local athletes. For now, Tim, I'll send things back to you.
Okay, thanks, Mo. Look forward to your chats this morning. Mother Nature was the story from the weekends in many parts of Ontario, but also across the border. Upstate New York, with parts getting 2 feet of snow, which included Orchard Park in Buffalo, where the Bills were hosting San Francisco in the Sunday Nighter, and after fans were called in to help clear the snow, it kept coming throughout the game. This is one of our viewers. This is Sheena. She was at the game and sent us this time-lapse video as she was in the building watching the field transformed into a winter wonderland. But it sure did not affect the play of one Josh Allen.
85% of the targets to Shakir completed. This is behind Cooper, who brought it in, pitched it back to Allen, who's going to go to the goal line and get in!
Are you kidding me? Allen showed why he's the current favorite to win NFL MVP. He is something special and showed what he can really do, anything. Scoring a receiving touchdown on a pass that he threw. All part of the Bills' dominant performance over the 49ers. They crushed them 35-10, clinching a 5th straight AFC East title. Allen set an NFL record, becoming the first QB to have a rushing, passing, and receiving touchdown in a game. First to do it since the Niners' Christian McCaffrey, who played in this game. But he was injured. He had to leave the game and will miss the rest of the season with a knee injury. Bad news for them, but nothing but good news for the Bills as they sit at 10-2, eyeing top spot in the division. They're off to LA to face the Rams on Sunday.
So that's the result. But the Raptors did a good job of sticking to their concepts and won.
R.J. Barrett.
To Scotiabank, where the Raptors were hosting the Heat after losing to them on Friday, and they got some revenge thanks to R.J. Barrett, who's been a stud for the Dinos this season. He had another stellar effort, dropping 37 points against Miami as the Raptors kicked off a 7-game homestand, I should say. Toronto was able to hold off a late push to beat the Heat 119-116 for their 6th win of the year. Pascal Siakam and Indiana in town tomorrow for an NBA Cup contest. Let's go to Houston, where SGA and his OKC Thunder were going for a 5th straight dub against former Raptor Fred VanVleet and his Houston Rockets. Shea was his usual fantastic self, dropping 32 points. But this one would get a little bit chippy near the end of the game, and it was Shea and his Canada basketball teammate, Mississauga's Dylan Brooks, fighting for a loose ball. That led to a skirmish, and Brooks, he would come out on top because he would hit the big shot to give the Rockets the 119-116 win. VanVleet, he finished with a season-high 38 points in the win. Let's bring you back home, and after such a wonderful start to the year, the Niagara Ice Dogs have fallen on some hard times. They were in Peterborough on Sunday, and former Dog Gavin Bryant would net the OT winner, giving the Petes the 4-3 win in overtime. Niagara has lost 4 of 5 games, giving up 22 goals in the process. And we finish in Boston, where they were celebrating 100 years of Bruins hockey, hosting Montreal, who they played back on the very same day, December the 1st, 1924, to begin the Bruins franchise. Montreal, they were the Maroons back then. The Canadiens now, the two have a storied history. Boston was able to win the latest chapter, holding off a late Habs push to take it 6-3. The 296th win over Montreal in their history.
All right, taking a look at our roads right now, we are seeing dark skies. Sun's not rising until about 7:35 this morning. 403 Waterdown Road, both directions moving well, but you can see it's gusty. We still have those westerly winds. Boy, was it ever cold over the weekend. We saw wind chills up to minus teens, like minus 15, minus 16, depending on where you were. Taking a look at some of our other cameras, we've got the QEW Skyway. This is on the Burlington side. Everybody behaving themselves, 613. QEW at Third Line, also moving well. And here we have QEW at Woodward Avenue, moving well in both directions. And QEW at Glendale, also looking good. All right, squalls, certainly still an issue for many travelers. Highway 11 still shut down in both directions, trying to still get transport trucks off the highway. The good news is that we're not seeing a lot of snow up towards Gravenhurst, where we are still seeing those snow squall watches and warnings is in through Barrie, all the way down towards Stratford. We are going to continue to see some accumulating snow. So if you do have travel plans, keep that in mind. Right now it is -4 through Hamilton, -3 through Toronto, -3 in Grimsby, and -5 in Mississauga. Mississauga. Feeling more like -9 when you factor in that wind chill. Feeling more like -8 through Cayuga and feeling more like -8 through Milton. If you are picking up the kids at the school, at the bus stop today, we're looking at 2 degrees, few isolated flurries, a light westerly wind at about 15 kilometers an hour. The squalls, they are going to continue to come off of Huron and Georgian Bay, but because the winds are in a little bit of a different direction, a lot of areas are getting a bit of a break, but traveling south, not so much. For us, we are just going to be dealing with some isolated flurries on and off throughout the day today, throughout the day tomorrow. Temperatures, seasonal, we should be around 4 degrees for this time of year, so a little bit cooler. May see some peaks of sun, so pretty similar to the forecast that we saw yesterday. A few isolated flurries, and then tonight we're cold, dropping down to -7, and then we are going to be seeing the potential for a little bit of sunshine throughout the day tomorrow, but not a ton. All right, we'll have your full long-range details coming up, but first, the news.
I have to remember to maybe put my Christmas lights up a little bit earlier. Don't have to turn them on.
That's
but
right.
I was out there on Saturday afternoon trying to put them up. It was freezing.
Because the wires,
you can't really do it with the gloves on, so your
Yeah,
gloves
no.
are off and your hands are freezing, so you got to go inside and warm up.
Oh,
it was an
you
ordeal.
make fun of Daniel doing it in September.
Not anymore.
No.
Way to go, Big D. All right, taking a break. Coming up after, we'll check in with Emily, see what she's got going on in Chit Chat. Also in business news, there are more food recalls this morning. We'll tell you why and what you need to check in the fridge and two. We should mention, because we didn't do it off the top, that Emily's in for Brian once again this week.
all this week. Yeah.
Off for a little bit, so wearing many different hats and doing a great job at it. So keep it up there, Em.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. If you don't see me, it's because I've stood in the wrong box. I don't know where I am half the time. Okay, but coming up in Chit Chat, could there be a Desperate Housewives reboot? I kind of hope not, but I kind of hope so. You know?
Well, I hear it's supposed to be like kind of an origin story.
Yeah.
Oh, like how they all came to be?
Set in the 60s.
Really? I'm just finishing up watching Mad Men, so I don't know. That could be something. That went pretty well.
I don't know, like my feminist hat is like, ugh.
I didn't see it the first time around, so I don't know much about it. But I know
It started off good.
I know it was a huge show.
Yeah, it started off really good.
Yeah.
Huge. And a cult favorite, maybe getting a sequel, Dawson's Creek. Wait, that was part of the first one. Sorry, right? Am I right? Getting a reboot. Oh no, it's another story.
It's another one.
It's Monday, and I'm just like, woo! A cult
You read
favorite.
good.
I know. Okay, never mind. I'm going to throw back to you guys, but we are going to be talking about a Dawson's Creek stars.
Okay.
We'll see in a bit.
Wow.
You get a break. You got many jobs going on.
have a
It's
lot on your
okay.
plate right now.
It's okay. I got no excuse. Let's get to business news now. And the Canadian dollar is down 15 basis points compared to Friday. Trading on this Monday overseas, 71.23 cents U.S. Gold down $22, 26.58.30 an ounce. What about crude oil? Well, it's up 68 cents, 68.68 a barrel. Off to Europe. Hey, Europe, got a new week. Happy December. Markets are slightly down in London, but up in Frankfurt and down in Paris.
In Asia, markets were up today across the board, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. North American markets, the TSX was up over 100 points. In limited shortened trading on Friday, the Dow Jones and NASDAQ were also up by triple-digit gains.
Okay, so glad you're here with us on a Monday morning. Hope you had a great weekend. Let's get into some recalls. Got two of them for you. The first one is a cucumber recall. It has been issued in Canada, also south of the border, due to potential salmonella contamination. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says the recall, it covers all sizes of sun-fed produce, whole fresh American cucumbers that were sold in Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, but also in Ontario. They were packaged in bulk containers and sold between October 12th and November 26th. So far, 68 people have gotten sick from these cucumbers in 19 U.S. states, including 18 people who were hospitalized. And this other recall, Health Canada is advising customers in Ontario and Quebec to discard or return Oya Ho brand enoki mushrooms due to a potential listeria contamination. So food contaminated with listeria, it can cause symptoms such as vomiting, nausea, persistent fever, muscle aches, and severe headaches and neck stiffness.
A major shakeup in the auto industry this morning. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares is stepping down. Tavares has been under fire for months over disappointing sales and disagreements with the company's board of directors. The United Auto Workers had also called for his departure. Stellantis makes Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge vehicles. An interim executive committee is going to run the company during their search for a new CEO.
Okay, well, what a weekend it was. Did you get out for a walk on the weekend?
Nothing. I didn't go out of the house.
You're just like, hey, what's going on out there?
It's too cold out there.
Well, listen, it was different for so many different people across the region. Snow's still falling in some areas. Emily will have a look at when it's stopping and how cold it's going to get this week.
6:25 on your Monday. It is December the 2nd, and we've got some squalls still. I mean, Gravenhurst, Bracebridge, things have started to slow down a little bit. Huntsville as well, but we are seeing those squalls moving in through London, in through Stratford. We could see a few isolated flurries. Roads could be slick in some areas. If you're just heading out the door, Burr, -6. Feels a little colder than that when you factor in the wind. We are going to continue to see cold temperatures. Those blue arrows, yeah, that's all that cold polar air that is moving in throughout our region over the next couple of days. So just expect to bundle up the kids this morning. Quick look at the 7-day forecast. We are going to be seeing peaks of sunshine for the next couple of days. 2 degrees for today. We're looking at a daytime high of 1 tomorrow. Overcast conditions for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We do have that chance to see a few isolated flurries, but look at these temperatures. That is below our seasonal average, and as we get closer to the weekend, still remaining chilly for the first weekend of December. Back to the desk.
Okay, so you're a billionaire, and you just bought a $6 million banana. What do you do with it? Eat it. You eat it.
The viral artwork named Comedian, we talked about this in the past in this very segment, by artist Maurizio Catalan consisted of a banana duct taped to a wall. The 2019 piece went on auction block and sold for an eye-popping $6.25 million. The buyer was a Chinese collector and cryptocurrency founder. His name is Justin Sung. So he celebrated on Friday by, eating it. How'd it taste? In a post on X, he said, quote, "For a banana with such a backstory, the taste is naturally different from an ordinary one." That said, the banana and the duct tape were not the originals from 2019,
well,
obviously.
it's a series of,
So, okay, so then can he just go to Fortino's now and pick up a new banana and just duct tape another one there? Is it the same thing? Just constantly just a banana kind of rotating through there?
Yeah, because you always want it there. You just don't want to leave the duct tape stuck up on the wall.
I always forget about bananas too.
Oh,
I feel
bananas
bad.
are so good.
No, I know, but they always go brown and then they go in the freezer.
Oh, but then you make banana bread.
Yeah, I know. They go in the freezer and then you bring the banana bread in. We all get to enjoy.
Bring me your frozen bananas.
Yes, all right.
And I won't charge you $6 million for them.
Okay. I hope you had a great weekend. Starting December, we'll see you in a couple minutes.